Chapter 4506. The Tree of Life of the Fourth Order Powerhouse? Hearing Xiao Mubai's words, Duan Lingshan's pupils shrank. He never imagined that the previous owner of the Tree of Life in his body turned out to be a fourth-tier Zeon. You must know that the Fourth Order Zeon is close to the existence of half-step Jesuan. Compared to Xiao Mubai and Duan Yuwei, they are only one step behind. The three supreme powers of the God-defying realm also looked at Duan Lingtian with surprise. The Tree of Life of the Fourth Order Powerhouse? You must know that even the strongest of the three of them is only the second-tier Zeon. Yes. When Duan Yuwei heard the words, she glanced at Duan Lingtian beside her in surprise, and then showed a bright smile. Xiaotian, it seems that you have a great chance to become an invincible superior god. If the law of space doesn't work, just sprint for the law of time. If the law of time doesn't work, just sprint for the law of life. The three laws, I still don't believe it. You can't even realize the realm of great perfection. Duan Yuwei also just learned that Duan Lingtian is also good at the law of time and the law of life. This also means that after Duan Lingtian, the space law sprint to the invincible upper god Venerable fails, and he can still try the time law and the life law. If you were an ordinary person, you would definitely not have the energy and time. But Duan Lingtian, a man who is less than 3,000 years old now, he doesn't have much, just a lot of time. World Lord, how do you know that the Tree of Life in my body is the Tree of Life of a Fourth Order Powerhouse? Duan Lingtian looked at Xiao Mubai and asked in surprise. Hearing this, Xiao Mubai smiled lightly. When you came to take Shen Yunquan, I felt the breath of an old friend in you. To be precise, it was the breath of the Tree of Life in the body of an old friend. I thought that after his death, he would disappear completely. But I didn't expect that his divine Tree of Life would turn to you. If he had a spirit in the sky, he would be able to rest his eyes. Leave behind after death, but still shine. This is the dream of all Zeons who perished to protect the anti-god realm. Speaking of which, Xiao Mubai's smile faded and he became a little serious. After a moment, he shook his head. Okay, let's not talk about this sentimental topic. I will go with you Yi Bansheng and accompany you. When the voice fell, he greeted Yi Bansheng Shengsheng, and at the same time, with a casual move, an invisible force dragged Duan Lingtian and rushed up with Duan Lingtian. There are only three supreme powers of the god-defying realm left, looking at each other in dismay. Really? That Duan Lingtian now has the invincible strength under the invincible superior god? One of the strongest people is obviously a little unbelievable. To be precise, I can't believe it. Because, this is simply outrageous. You must know that throughout the past history of their anti-god realm, although there have been invincible existences under the invincible superior god Venerable, there are only a few of them. Among those people, only two of them successfully became the invincible upper gods. In the era they lived in, the reputation of the anti-god realm outside the realm, and even the 10,000 realms, was not much weaker than that of the upper three realms. It should be true. Another Zeon said with a dignified expression, the Midnight Saint Yu Yi is, after all, a half-step Jezun. Her words shouldn't be false. Besides, her lie doesn't make much sense. After all, she is a semisage. As long as she is by Duan Lingshan's side for a moment, in the anti-god realm, it is impossible for anyone to blatantly harm Duan Lingtian. The words of this superpower made the last superpower deeply agree. I think so too. Now, that Duan Lingtian is no longer the little guy who could be needed by us. Now he can be regarded as the hope of the new generation of our god-defying realm. I remember. This paragraph of Lingtian seems to be a disciple of the inner palace of the Wanfa Academy. I thought that Huangfu Mengyuan could become an existence close to the invincible high-ranking god, and it was enough to shock people. Now it seems that this Lingtian is more enchanting than Huangfu Mengyuan. That Huangfu Mengyuan is Duan Lingshan's senior sister? Duan Lingtian naturally couldn't hear the exchanges between the three supreme powers of the god-defying realm. Now, he is following Xiao Mubai, the realm master of the anti-god realm, and his older sister, Duan Yuwei of the Duan clan in the Thunder Holy Realm from the outer worlds, to one of the gods of the anti-god realm, the Divine Relic Land. His wife Kir, the eldest young lady of the Xia family, is now in the Xia family, the giant god-level family in the land of the gods. The three appeared in the sky above the Xia family's mansion. There was no movement in the Xia family, and it was obvious that they didn't notice anything. Think about it too. No matter whether it is Duan Yuwei or Xiao Mubai, they are the existence of Banbu Jiezun. Even if the Xia family's most powerful person is in the Xia family, as long as they do not deliberately reveal their whereabouts, it will be difficult for the other party to find them. I called the Xion from the Xia family to come out. After Xiao Mubai spoke to Duan Yuwei, he sent out a message together. In the blink of an eye, a white light flew out from the depths of the Xia family mansion, and in a blink of an eye, it was in front of Duan Lingtian and the others. But it was an old man who looked ordinary and passed out. I have seen the World Master. The old man is the ancestor of the Xia family, the only superpower of the Xia family, Xia Hachuan. After he appeared, he immediately looked at Xiao Mubai and saluted respectfully. Duan Lingtian, I have seen my ancestor. And Duan Lingtian, while Xia Hachuan saluted Xiao Mubai, bowed slightly to salute him. This old ancestor of the Xia family, before he left the anti-god realm, he had met once. Although they got along for a long time, the other party still gave him a lot of advice and reminders when he was about to go to the outside world. It can be said that he took a lot of detours. Kid Lingtian and Xia Hachuan only then came back to his senses and looked at Duan Lingtian. This has a little out of mind. His husband-in-law, who was a descendant of unknown generations, even he was amazed by the enchanting genius. How long did he go to the outside world, and then he came back? Moreover, who came back with him, and one of their several world masters in the god-defying realm? Xia Hechuan. Xiao Mubai looked at Xia Hachuan and introduced Duan Yuwei beside him. This one next to me is the midnight saint of the Duan clan in the Thunder Holy Land outside the world. Half holy. Although Xia Hachuan had never heard of Duan Yuwei's name, he also knew what the word half-sage meant. For a while, he hurriedly saluted Duan Yuwei. Xia Hachuan, I have seen you Yi Bansheng. Don't be too polite. Duan Yuwei smiled. Since you are my brother's elder, you are your own, so you don't need to be so polite, younger brother. And Xia Hachuan was stunned for a moment, and at the same time, he glanced at Duan Lingtian subconsciously. Duan Lingtian noticed Xia Hechuan's gaze and smiled slightly. Old ancestor, Sister Wei and I are indeed brothers and sisters. I brought her back this time, just to show her to Kier. How's Kier doing recently? Having said this, the smile on Duan Lingtian's face disappeared instantly, replaced by a deep worry. Hearing this, Xia Hachuan sighed. It's still the same. Although I want to help her slow down the corroding progress of the power of imprisoning her soul, but my strength is limited and I can't do it. He is only a second-tier superpower. Take me to meet my brother and sister. Duan Yuwei saw Duan Lingtian's worry, looked at Xia Hachuan and said, yes. Xia Hachuan responded respectfully. Even if Duan Yuwei told him not to be polite, he couldn't really do that. After all, this is a half-step world-respected powerhouse. In the anti-god realm, it is the existence of the realm master level. In the anti-god realm, there are only a few realm masters, who are half-step successors of the 5th rank of the strongest. End of this chapter. Chapter 4507. Although, from Duan Lingtian's point of view, it was after many years that he had returned to the god-defying realm and the Xia family, the land of the gods. However, for everyone in the Xia family, it was only a few years ago. After all, the years they lived were far longer than those of Duan Lingtian, and they lived a long time, which was naturally different from someone like Duan Lingtian who had only lived for more than 1,000 years. However, whether it was Xia Yu, the head of the Xia family, or Xia Jie, the third master of the Xia family, they were quite shocked by Duan Lingtian's return. Because, they never thought that Duan Lingtian would come back so soon. In particular, when they learned from the mouth of their Xia family ancestor Xia Hachuan that Duan Lingtian came back this time and brought back an existence whose strength was comparable to that of their god-defying realm boundary master, they were even more shocked. Moreover, this strong man is also commensurate with Duan Lingtian's sister and brother. Call their daughters and nieces brothers and sisters. In the quiet courtyard, in the room, Duan Lingtian stayed alone in the room, quietly watching the beautiful woman lying on the bed, motionless. Kier, Embark. Duan Lingtian held his wife Kier's hand, and his eyes turned red involuntarily. At this moment, his heart that was as hard as iron seemed to be vulnerable. Noticing that his wife was motionless, Duan Lingtian didn't care whether she could hear it or not, and told her word by word about his experience of going to the outer worlds. Speak slowly. At this moment, his backlogged emotions seemed to be vented. In the land outside the world, he worked hard for everything on his own, and he survived many times and died, and only then did he achieve what he is today. And a large part of the reason why he went through this was because of the supervision of his wife Kier's physical condition. After a long time, Duan Lingtian stood up and walked out of the room. Sister Wei, Senior Xiao, please trouble you. After going out, Duan Lingtian looked at the stone table in the courtyard. A man and a woman who were received by Xia Hechuan, the ancestor of the Xia family, and said solemnly, "These two are the existences of the fifth order Xeon, and the half-step world respects the powerhouse. The two of them joined forces, and they didn't know if they could get rid of the imprisoned soul on Kier." Duan Lingtian was at a loss. If these two are real world-class experts, that is, the saints in the mouths of people outside the world, he feels that the soul imprisonment on his wife Kier is likely to be released. How big is the gap between the semi-sage and the saint? He has been in the outside world for such a long time, and he knows something. However, right now, he still doesn't have the ability to let the saint take action for him. Xiaotian, don't worry, Jizhu Xiao and I will do our best. Duan Yue said to Duan Lingtian with a smile, and at the same time she looked at Xiao Mubai next to her, and said with a straight face, Xiao Jizhu, if you can help me to help my younger brother and sister to release the soul imprisonment of the Soul Clan, I Duan Yue owe you a favor. Yu Yi Mid-Saint is joking. Hearing this, Xiao Mubai shook his head and glanced at Duan Lingtian at the same time. Duan Lingtian and I are also related by fate. If I can help in this matter, naturally I won't let it go. In fact, at this time, Xiao Mubai secretly sighed in his heart. Duan Lingshan's wife Kier, although he did not personally investigate the situation, he had also heard reports from his subordinates. According to the report of the subordinates, it is the soul of the second-tier Xeon clan. After they merged with the people of the anti-god realm, the soul is imprisoned. If it is only the first-tier supreme powerhouse clansmen, and their non-extreme powerhouses in the god-defying realm merge into one, their means will be greatly reduced. Under this circumstance, the soul was imprisoned, and he was very sure to expel it. But now, he doesn't even have a 10% certainty. Even if Duan Yue is still there, he doesn't think that the two of them will be able to join forces with more than 20%. However, he did not express his thoughts. Because he knew that saying these words at this time would be a huge blow to Duan Lingtian and Duan Yue. Duan Lingtian led Duan Yue and Xiao Mubai into the room. Brother and sister are so beautiful. Rao Sha Duan Yue has seen countless beauties in her life, and when she saw the woman on the bed, she couldn't help but let out a sigh. While sighing, before Duan Yue reached the head of the bed, her divine sense also extended softly at the first moment, covering Kier's body. Seeing this scene, Duan Lingtian looked at it with a solemn expression, and his heart was full of anxiety. And Xiao Mubai, at this time, also extended his consciousness, and cooperated with Duan Yue to explore the power of Kier's soul together. It didn't take long for the two of them to discover the imprisoning power of the powerhouse of the Soul Clan, which enveloped the entire soul, and because of the time it had been enveloped, the enveloped soul had become much weaker. If it continues like this, I am afraid that within 1,000 years, the soul will be scattered. In just a few dozen breaths, Duan Yue and Xiao Mubai's consciousness retreated together. Then, Xiao Mubai shook his head gently. On the other hand, Duan Yui's face was ugly. The people from the Soul Clan who shot are definitely above the second rank of the strongest. Otherwise, if they are integrated with the non-superpowers, they will definitely not be able to display this level of soul confinement. Hearing Duan Yui's words, Duan Lingshan's originally nervous expression changed drastically. The Soul Clan clansman above the second rank of Xeon? The remnant soul of the Soul Clan who merged with that Yun Qingyang turned out to be in existence above the second rank of Xeon? The last thing he wanted to see happened, after all. Back then, that Yun Qingyang merged with the Soul Clan people to imprison Kier's soul. His knowledge of the Soul Clan people was limited to the extreme powerhouse. Later, after knowing that the strongest are also divided into 3, 6, and 9, and their strength is divided into many levels, he thought more than once. At that time, what level of the powerhouse would the Soul Clan people who merged with Yunqingyang be? If it is only the first order Xeon, the soul imprisonment under it should be easier to solve. If not, it must be difficult to understand. If it's a first-tier Xeon Soul Clan clansman, with the remnant soul and the non-Xiong power being integrated into one, the power of the soul will definitely be greatly reduced. With the strength of Mi and Xiao Jieju, it is not difficult to remove the soul left behind. Confinement lifted. Duan Yue sighed, it's a pity that it's not a soul imprisoned under the Soul Clan of the first-tier Xeon. The other party is at least the second-tier Xeon. Xiaotian, I'm sorry, I couldn't help my younger brother and sister out of trouble. Duan Yue looked at Duan Lingtian and apologized again and again. And Duan Lingtian also came back to his senses at this time, shook his head and smiled bitterly. Sister Wei, you don't need to apologize, you can come with me, you already have the intention. As for whether it can unlock Kia's soul imprisonment, I knew from the beginning, it depends on luck. It seems that luck is average. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was naturally full of disappointment. However, there is nothing to be done. But, at this time, Duan Yue continued, although there is no way to remove the soul imprisonment for my younger brother and sister. But, if I join forces with Xiao Jieju, we can still retain our soul power to resist that soul imprisonment in the depths of my younger brother and sister's consciousness. Power. This will buy some more time. In this way, the soul of the younger brother and sister will not be wiped out so early. As soon as Duan Yue said these words, Duan Lingshan's eyes suddenly lit up. In fact, he is going to ask the 2.5 saints in front of him next. Now, Duan Yue said it first, the disappointment in his heart was gone, and it was replaced by surprise. As long as he can buy more time, he believes that in the future, he will definitely be able to ask the saint to take action. In the blink of an eye, Duan Lingshan's mood felt as if he had experienced a double heaven of ice and fire. Then next, I will trouble Sister Wei and Senior Xiao. Duan Lingtian will never forget this kindness. Duan Lingtian said solemnly, you and I have a sister and brother, there is no need for this. Duan Yue shook her head and smiled. And Xiao Mubai shook his head and said, you are one of the younger generation in the god-defying realm, and I am one of the people I like the most. This trivial matter, as Yu Yi Bansheng said, really doesn't need to be the case. End of this chapter. Chapter 4508. In fact, when I came back this time, the result was beyond Duan Lingshan's expectations. Therefore, after Duan Yue and Xiao Mubai helped Kia, he was in a good mood when he got together with the head of the Xia family, Xia Yu, and the third master of the Xia family, Xia Jie. At this time, Xiao Mubai had already left. Of course, before he left, Duan Yue told him that he would leave the anti-god realm within 2 days and would not stay here for long. Because, 2 days later, her younger brother Duan Lingtian will also set off to a place of return to the ruins discovered by the sage power Baibo Tianfu. Duan Yue didn't have any intention of concealing the place of return to the ruins. In fact, there is no need to hide it. Baibo Tianfu, as a sage power, it found the place of return to the ruins. There are people who are jealous, and how many people dare to go to him to get a piece of the pie? A number of saint forces joined forces, but they could force Baibo Tianfu to bow their heads. However, once this kind of thing is a precedent, and other sage forces discover the land of return to the ruins in the future, isn't it necessary to give other sage forces a share? Therefore, the sage forces of all parties reached a consensus a long time ago. Among the sage forces, whoever discovers the place of return to the ruins belongs to whom, and other sage forces must not have the idea of a share. The land of return to ruins. Restrictions. Under the Xeon, the 4th rank of Kendo. And when Duan Yue mentioned the conditions to be met by those who entered the place of return to the ruins in Baibo Tianfu, she couldn't help but be a little surprised. There is such a request. That place of return to the ruins is most likely created by an existence who is good at swordsmanship. There are 2 types of return to the ruins. The first is formed by the rules of heaven and earth. This is also a pure natural return to the ruins. There is no specific test in it, but if you want to find something in it, you need a lot of effort. Such places of return to the ruins are often more dangerous. It has no restrictions on entrance, and even the strongest in the world can enter. However, there are some dangers in it, and even the strongest in the world may perish because of a single thought. Of course, such places of return to the ruins are relatively rare, and once they appear, they are all explored by the forces of saints in all worlds and even beyond the world. If any sage power covets such a place of return, there is often only one result, that is the death of saints and the withering of power. For countless years, there have been many sage forces, all because they want to swallow such a place of return to the ruins, so the final end is not very good. And if more sage forces participate, the risks can be shared equally. At the same time of sharing the risks, it is possible to take advantage of the chaos. Another place to return to the ruins. It is like the place of return to the ruins that Baibo Tianfu discovered this time. These places of return to the ruins are said to be the treasures left by the ancient powers in the ancient times, when there was no distinction between the 10,000 worlds and the outside world. And the ancient powerhouses who can leave the land of return to the ruins are said to have stepped into the existence of the seventh order Xeon or above. You must know that the strength of the ceiling in the world and beyond the world today is the saint, that is, the powerhouse of the world. And these existences, among the strongest, are considered to be the sixth order powerhouse, commonly known as the extreme sixth order. What is the concept of existence above the seventh order Xeon? That is to say, those ancient powerhouses who left the land of return to the ruins, whoever walks out of one person, can hang any top powerhouses in the world and beyond. Duan Lingtian, that place of return to the ruins is most likely left by a strong swordsman from the ancient times. For you, it may be a chance or a disaster. Listen to what you just said, after you arrived in the land outside the world, you haven't entered the land of return to the ruins. As a forerunner of the anti-god realm, let me give you a piece of advice. In the land of return to the ruins, you must be bold. Mind, don't take any risks, and don't be afraid. Only in this way can you ensure that you can maximize your gains in the land of return to ruins. Before leaving the Xia family, Xiao Mubai deliberately left a piece of advice to Duan Lingtian, which could be regarded as a wake-up call to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian is one of the young people he is most optimistic about in the anti-god realm. If possible, he naturally hopes that Duan Lingtian can take off and become the top powerhouse in the world and even beyond the world. That, for the anti-god realm, is a great deed. He didn't stop Duan Lingtian from taking risks. Because he knows that there are some risks that must be taken on the road of growth of the strong. Just like when he wandered outside the world, he also entered many places of return to the ruins, several times, and almost lost his life. It can be said that it is because of those experiences that he is who he is today. In the anti-god realm, the youngest world lord and the youngest half-step world venerable in history, Xiao Jieju, is the youngest half-step Jesuan in the history of the anti-god realm. When Duan Lingtian learned this from the mouth of Xia Jie, the third master of the Xia family, he couldn't help but be startled. Is that senior sword of time not as good as him? Time sword. That is the god-defying powerhouse. Even in a place outside the realm, he has heard people mention the time sword many times, a super strong person who is good at kendo, who is a strong person who has gone out from the god-defying realm. It is a pity that Tian, jealous of Ingcai, the senior of the time sword, died before he stepped into the realm of Jiezun. Before Jieju Xiao, senior sword of time did indeed hold the record of the youngest half-step Jesuan and the youngest Jieju in the anti-god realm. However, the appearance of Jieju Xiao broke this record. When Xia Jie mentioned Xiao Mubai, the world master of the god-defying realm, his eyes were full of reverence. I heard from the ancestors, when Xiao Jieju first entered the Xeon, he was the existence of the third order Xeon. At that time, in the entire anti-god realm, under the fourth order Xeon, no one was his opponent. When he stepped into the fourth order Xeon, he continued to be invincible in the fourth order Xeon. Moreover, his fourth order invincibility can defeat any of the fourth order Xeons in our anti-god realm within 3 moves. The presence. It's this kind of invincibility. Xia Jie's words made Duan Lingtian take a deep breath. That world Lord Xiao was so strong. I heard from the ancestors that even if Jie Master Xiao walked out of the god-defying realm and went to a place outside the realm, he had achieved a great reputation. The existence under the 5th rank of the Xeon was basically not the Xeon at that time. His opponent of Tier 4. Later, he returned to the anti-god realm and was promoted to become a top 5-tier powerhouse, and became the realm master of the anti-god realm. Having said this, Xia Jie paused for a while, and said to Duan Lingtian through voice transmission, "It is said that the powerful Jiezun realm in the legend of the anti-god realm is the father of Xiao Jiezhu, his biological father." As soon as these words came out, Duan Lingtian was shocked. Dare to be affectionate, Jiezhu Xiao is not only his own talent and strength, but also his background, which is also so terrifying. The only Jiezun realm powerhouse in the god-defying realm turned out to be Jie Master Xiao's biological father. That is the backbone of the anti-god realm based on the 10,000 realms middle 18 realms. Chapter 4509. Xia Jie's remarks also gave Duan Lingtian a better understanding of Xiao Mubai, the world master of the god-defying realm. It turned out that the world lord Xiao was so terrifying. Now, in the anti-god realm, apart from his father, the legendary Jiezun realm powerhouse, he is probably the strongest. Moreover, Xia Jie also said, according to what Xia Hachuan, the ancestor of the Xia family, said, the world masters of the god-defying realm, except for the world master Xiao, are all retreating to improve their strength. Because they are now more and more struggling to deal with the 10,000-year catastrophe. If the strength can't keep up, it won't take long before they will perish under the 10,000 years heavenly tribulation. Duan Lingtian was there, shocked by the power of Xiao Mubai, the world master of the god-defying realm, and the amazing background. On this side, Xiao Mubai returned to his cultivation place. After seeing his middle-aged men, he rarely smiled. "You know, I went out this time, who did I meet? Who did the Lord see?" The middle-aged man asked curiously. If Duan Lingtian is here and sees this middle-aged man, he will definitely recognize it at a glance. This one is the one who appeared on the plain battlefield back then and took him to the place where Shen Yunquan was located. At that time, he heard this, and called the other supreme power Sir. And that supreme power is Xiao Mubai. Duan Lingtian. Xiao Mubai returned to the pavilion, sat at the table, made a pot of tea, and drank leisurely. Duan Lingtian? The middle-aged man was startled at first, then his pupils shrank. Is the one who got Shen Yunquan last time? He is back. The middle-aged man frowned. Is he a little unreasonable? When he left, I thought he could handle it. Now what are you doing when you come back? Think he can wrestle with those old guys? The Shen Yunquan in his hand, those old guys all want it. The middle-aged man said later. His tone was obviously a little more worried. Although he didn't get along much with that Duan Lingtian, but because he admired the other party, he naturally hoped that the other party could grow up well, and he didn't need to face the embarrassment of some greedy old guys. Okay. Xiao Mubai nodded, he's back. As for you saying he thinks he can wrestle with those old guys. Speaking of this, Xiao Mubai's eyes became a little weird. This time he came back, it's not just as simple as wrestling with those old guys. Those old guys really dare to shoot at him. Unless I and the retreating ones shoot, no one can save them. As soon as Xiao Mubai said these words, the middle-aged man's eyes widened in shock. Sir, what do you mean by this? Is it possible he has become a superpower? When the middle-aged man asked here, his eyes were filled with astonishment and disbelief. That little guy. Just become the strongest? No. Xiao Mubai shook his head, and then said again, is it possible, you didn't hear the news? Outside, a distinguished guest came to our anti-god realm. The middle-aged man pondered for a moment, his pupils shrank suddenly. Is it possible? That night half-sage from the Thunder Holy Land outside the world, the half-step Holy Land powerhouse, the person who follows her from the god-defying realm is Duan Lingtian. That's right. Xiao Mubai nodded, it's Duan Lingtian. He turned out to be willing to degenerate and become Midnight's favorite boy. The middle-aged man's face was filled with hatred. Xiao Mubai said angrily, what nonsense. Haven't you always been optimistic about him? Are you so unconfident in him? Or, in your eyes, is he like this? My lord, do you know something? The middle-aged man's expression softened a bit and asked. The news he received was that someone in their anti-god realm had become the male pet of Midnight Yu Yi and returned from outside the realm with Midnight Yu Yi, and he didn't know what to do. The Midnight Saint Yu Yi recognized Duan Lingtian as her younger brother. As for why she did this, she just wanted to invest in Duan Lingtian in advance. Guess what is the current strength of Duan Lingtian? Xiao Mubai asked. Do not know. The middle-aged man shook his head. However, I can make that bamboo Jesuan condescend to recognize him as his younger brother. He must be a high-ranking god, and his strength should not be weak. Yu Yi Bansheng seems to be good at the law of life. With her attainments in the law of life, she must have seen that Duan Lingtian is young. The middle-aged man said. He is indeed already a high-ranking god. Xiao Mubai nodded, and then said again, but it's not an ordinary high-ranking god. He, with his current strength, under the invincible superior god Venerable, no one should be able to defeat him. And this is what Yu Yi Bansheng told me personally. Xiao Mubai said. What? And the middle-aged man was stunned when he heard Xiao Mubai's words. Unexpectedly, the little guy back then, in a blink of an eye, actually stood at the pinnacle of the upper gods. Under the invincible superior god, no one can defeat him. Isn't it possible to step into the realm of the invincible upper **** at any time and become the invincible upper god? Thinking of this, the middle-aged man's breathing became rapid in an instant. Sir, he may become the fourth person in the history of our anti-god realm after you, your father, and senior Sword of Time. The invincible superior **** to achieve the strongest, yes. In the history of the anti-god realm, there have actually been quite a few invincible high-ranking gods, not dozens, but a dozen. However, only Xiao Mubai's father, and the Sword of Time can become the strongest. As for Duan Lingtian. From the point of view of a middle-aged man, Duan Lingtian is still so young, and he has become like this. Once he becomes an invincible high-ranking god, he will have enough time to hit the realm of the strongest. Maybe. Xiao Mubai smiled slightly. I didn't expect that among the people I was most optimistic about, in a blink of an eye, he turned out to be at the forefront. It's more than his senior sister Huangfu Mengyuan. Huangfu Mengyuan. Duan Lingshan's eldest sister in Wanfa Academy's inner palace, the eldest sister that Duan Lingtian has not seen so far, is the best among the young people Xiao Mubai had been most optimistic about. My lord, at that time the successor of the lightsaber, Duan Lingshan's master, Feng Qingyang, also went to the outside world. His swordsmanship is definitely the strongest under the time sword in the history of our god-defying realm. If he does not die, it should also be expected to become an invincible upper god, right? The swordsmanship of the 7th rank and above. Even if the time law he is good at is only the realm of small perfection, after stepping into the realm of the upper gods, his strength can be comparable to that of the invincible upper god. He and Duan Lingtian really a terrifying pair of master and apprentice. The wind is light. After Duan Lingtian left the anti-god realm that year, he did not stay in the anti-god realm for a long time, so he left the anti-god realm and went to a place outside the realm through the relationship with the Wanfa Academy. Certainly. Now, Duan Lingtian doesn't know this yet. At this moment, Duan Lingtian left with Duan Yuwei after staying in the Xia family for a day and a night. He is in Thunder Holy Land, and he has something to do. This time, he was in a hurry, and he had Duan Yuwei by his side, so he couldn't bear the urge to see his family in the mundane plane. When I come back next time, I'll see my parents and the others. And Fantasia. Before the law clone I left behind collapsed, her strength had already stepped into the realm of the ***** Emperor. Judging from her entry, these years have passed. Should she be a ***** now? When he left, Duan Lingshan's thoughts also flew out far away. Chapter 45:10. After leaving the land of God's relic and the anti-god realm, Duan Yuwei took Duan Lingtian all the way to the teleportation formation in the anti-god realm. According to Duan Yuwei's words, it is still necessary to go back to the teleportation formation of the anti-god realm that he arrived earlier, and only that teleportation formation can accurately teleport to the Thunder Saint realm. Other teleportation arrays, although possible, have certain uncertainties. The upper 3 realms and the middle 18 realms in myriad realms basically have only one precise teleportation array, because the accuracy of the teleportation array is related to the strength of the realm's power. As for other realms, such as the teleportation formation that Duan Lingtian had visited before, the reincarnation realm of the anti-god realm, which went to places beyond the realm, was not accurate. Don't say that you don't lock the destination to teleport. Even if you lock the destination to shuttle, it is very likely to be teleported to other places. Duan Lingtian was deeply touched by this. At the beginning, when he went to the outside world through the teleportation array on the other side of the reincarnation world, he was directly teleported to the edge area of the outside world, the Tiansha realm. Moreover, it is still within the sea area near Tiansha realm. Thinking of the hardships along the way at that time, Duan Lingtian still has lingering fears. Red Devil. In the future, when I become a superpower, I will have to go to the Tiansha realm again and talk to the Red Devil of the Red Devil Ridge. In Duan Lingtian's eyes, a cold light flashed. At the beginning, he almost fell into the hands of the supreme power Red Devil. So many high-ranking gods. When Duan Yue brought Duan Lingtian back to the teleportation formations in the anti-god realm, Duan Lingtian saw many high-ranking gods appearing near the teleportation formations. Now, these high-ranking gods are gathering together, listening to the command of one of the 3 supreme powers he had met before, leaving the teleportation formation in an orderly manner and returning to the god-defying realm. Seeming to see Duan Lingtian's doubts, Duan Yue said, "The teleportation formation of Wanjie, the only place beyond the realm and the space barrier of Wanjie. Near the teleportation formation, there are often big monsters running rampant, strong but not strong. It is Lingji, it's not high, and generally the upper gods can handle it. The existence of those big monsters will have a certain impact on the teleportation array, and may even destroy the teleportation array. And this kind of big monster, it is impossible for the strongest to deal with it all the time. Therefore, the major realms of the world generally send a group of high-ranking gods on a regular basis to take turns to clear these big monsters in places outside the realm and near space barriers." Demon. Duan Yuwei's words also made some of Duan Lingtian's past confusions clear. Before he left the anti-god realm, he had heard that the high-ranking gods in the anti-god realm, after stepping into the high-ranking gods for a period of time, would be forced to leave the anti-god realm and go to places outside the realm. Dare to be affectionate is to remove those big demons that affect the teleportation array. I've seen the Midnight Saint. Except for one supreme power who led a group of high-ranking gods from the god-defying realm to leave the teleportation formation, the other 2 supreme powers discovered Duan Lingtian and Duan Yue after realizing it, and saluted Duan Yue immediately. "You too, my affairs in the anti-god realm are over, and now I have to go back to the Thunder Holy Land. Trouble for you too." Duan Yue nodded to the 2 of them and said bluntly, "I would like to serve you, ye mid-saint." The 2 were busy for a while, and opened the teleportation array, allowing Duan Yue and Duan Lingtian to leave the teleportation array on the side of the anti-god realm and return to the Thunder Saint realm. However, when they returned to the Thunder Holy Land, it was not the teleportation formation that appeared when they came. Appeared in another place. For Duan Lingtian, it was a completely unfamiliar place. "I didn't expect to come to the area under the control of Qingyun Shengzong." After appearing, Duan Yue glanced around and saw a slightly familiar face. After a brief recollection, she seemed to have thought of something and muttered. And when Duan Lingtian heard her words, his heart moved slightly. Qingyun Shengzong. Of course he'd heard of it. Because Qingyun Shengzong is also one of the saint forces in Lei Sheng, and it is no weaker than Baibo Tianfu. Whoosh. While Duan Lingtian's thoughts were flying, a figure galloped from a distance, and in a blink of an eye, it was not far in front of the 2 of them. The person who came was an old man who was over old, wearing a light blue robe. After he appeared at this time, his eyes were staring at Duan Yue. "Yu Yi Bansheng, rare guest. Which realm of myriad realms did you go to?" The person who came stared at Duan Yue with a teasing expression, and asked, "Which world do I go to? I don't need to report to you, Fu Liangyu, right?" Duan Yue glanced at the old man in green robe lightly, and there was no politeness in her words. She has some grudges with the Fu family where Fu Liangyu belongs. To be precise, he had some grudges with Fu Liangyu's eldest brother, the semisage of the Fu family. The Fu family's status under the Qingyun sect is almost equal to the Duan family status under the Baibo Tianfu, and it is also a semisacred force. As for Fu Liangyu in front of him, he is considered a strong person in the Fu family, and his strength is second only to his elder brother, the half-sage of the Fu family. That's natural. Fu Liangyu smiled sullenly. After all, you are a saint in the dark night. Humph. Duan Yuwei snorted coldly, then did not stay, took Duan Lingtian and left directly. Fu Liangyu, on the other hand, looked at their backs from a distance, a sharp light flashed in his eyes, and sent a message directly to the half-saint family behind him, the Fu family. Big brother, that ******* Duan Yuwei, I don't know which realm I came back from, and it happened to appear in the teleportation array area where I was on duty. Now, she is heading towards Baibo Tianfu. Fu Liangyu's message was sent back to Fu's house. Immediately, within the Fu family, a figure burst out of the sky and galloped towards the Baibo Tianfu. At the same time, 2 messages were also sent out by him. Old Ghost Han, haven't you always wanted to repay my favor? Today, as long as you help me kill that Duan Yuwei, the favor you owe me will be repaid. Brother Tuoba, Duan Yuwei accidentally teleported to the area of our Qingyun Shengzong alone with a high-ranking god, and is now heading to Baibo Tianfu. This is a good opportunity to kill her. Come quickly. Okay. After leaving the teleportation formation, Duan Lingtian felt that Duan Yuwei's face became extremely solemn, and she didn't even chat with him as usual. Even, Duan Yuwei is taking him on the road now, although he can't see the situation along the way, but he can also see, Duan Yuwei, there is a high probability that she is on her way at full speed. What's the situation? Could it be because of that person just now? The current Duan Yuwei gives Duan Lingtian the feeling that she is running for her life. That's right. Just run for your life. It was hard for him to imagine what could make Duan Yuwei lose her temper like this and run for her life at full speed. Are the saints going to make a move? Or, how many demigods? Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian only felt a tingling in his scalp, my sister who was forced to admit. Who the ****** did I offend in this Qingyun Shengzong area? End of this chapter. Chapter 45:11. Duan Yuwei's current state is obviously not quite right. This made Duan Lingtian, who had some vague guesses, but couldn't help but feel a great sense of crisis. To make Duan Yuwei Tangtang Yuyi Bansheng leave in such a panic, obviously, the imminent danger is also fatal to Duan Yuwei, otherwise she would not be like this. Can Duan Lingtian not panic for making a half-sage so rude? Now he is not even the strongest. Wrong. It should be said that now, he is not even the invincible superior god venerable whose strength is closest to the strongest. Although it can be said that it is only one step away, but this one step is like a gulf. A genuine and invincible high-ranking ***** who has comprehended a certain law to the realm of great perfection, if he wants to kill him now, even if he is in excellent condition and makes all his efforts, it is almost impossible to survive after 10 move. It should be fine, right? I still have a lot to do. Kir hasn't woken up yet. Now Duan Lingtian is a little anxious. After all, this kind of crisis, if he was alone, would be difficult to encounter. After all, it came from the interception of possible multiple demigods, or saint. Xiaotian, I will find a random place to drop you in front of me later, and you will go to the direction of Baibo Tianfu. The direction is the direction we are going now. Of course, you'd better take a detour. Just now, the people in the Fu family also saw you, maybe they didn't see you beside me, and they would search you. Duan Yuwei's message was passed into Duan Lingtian's ears. This voice, like a reassurance needle, made Duan Lingtian heave a sigh of relief. It's not that he is greedy for life. Instead, if he stayed, even if he died worthless and meaningless. Not to mention the sage's shot, even if it is a half-sage, if he raises his hand casually, he can be crushed to death with one finger. Sister Wei, after you put me down, is there anything you want me to do? Duan Lingtian asked Duan Yuwei through voice transmission. Now the two are on their way at an extremely fast speed, and it is difficult to communicate with each other, so they can only communicate through voice transmission. As for Duan Yuwei, when she heard what he said, She sighed and said after a long while, "If I am alive this time, there is nothing you need to do. If I die, it will be in vain to tell you anything. If I die, the Duan clan will definitely decline. As for what happens in the future, we can only see their fortunes." Duan Yuwai's words made Duan Lingtian even more uneasy. Is she so unhappy? Sister Wei, can you tell me? Before Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he was interrupted by Duan Yuwei. Duan Yuwei's voice transmission was full of urgency and determination. "Xiaotian, I'll let you down here. The old guy from the Fu family who has a grudge against me is coming soon. With him, there are 2 other guys who are not weaker than him, but it's not that easy to keep me." Duan Yuwei. As soon as Duan Yuwei finished speaking, Duan Lingtian felt a thrust pushing him away, and then wrapped himself in a very fast speed. After decelerating until later, he can already control the power in his body and control his body. He dodged, and his figure disappeared directly into the lush forest beneath his feet, and then he walked quietly all the way. However, they did not follow Duan Yuwei in the same direction. Not long after Duan Lingtian landed, he heard 3 superimposed rapid wind whistles coming from his ears. The wind whistling was short-lived, but he could still hear it clearly. 3 semi-sacred powerhouses? Duan Lingtian's face also became extremely solemn at this moment. At the same time, there was a look of helplessness on his face. He is too weak. Staying by Duan Yuwei's side can only hold her back. The most urgent task is to get back to the Duan family first. As for Sister Wei, she can only rely on herself. She is a semi-sacred powerhouse, so there shouldn't be an accident, right? But it was the other 3 semi-sacred powerhouses who were chasing her. Pay home. Now, Zhu Xiaojun also remembered that when he left the teleportation formation just now, the person who greeted him seemed to be from the Fu family. The other party, named Fu Liangyu. No wonder the other party's words are so unkind. It turns out that the Fu family and Sister Wei have a grudge. These 3 semi-sages should also be found by him. As for Duan Yuwei's enmity with the Fu family, why didn't he kill Fu Liangyu who was in the teleportation array just now? Duan Lingtian can easily guess. It must be because the teleportation array belongs to the Qingyun sect of the saints. And Fu Liangyu, who is on duty there, can also be regarded as the representative of Qingyun Shengzong. If Fu Liangyu were killed there, he would definitely offend the Qingyun sect. When the Qingyun sect was angry, let alone Duan Yuwei, even the entire Duan clan would not be able to protect him. Duan Yuwei caused trouble first, and the Baibo Tianfu behind the Duan family might not necessarily protect Duan Yuwei and the Duan family. Take a detour and be safe. Although he felt that the 3 half-sages had no time to pay attention to him, Duan Lingtian cautiously took a detour for the sake of caution. Finally, after half a day, he successfully entered the area governed by Baibo Tianfu. It's safe. He knew that stepping on this land also meant that he was safe. At this time, there is no need to hide and fly directly to where the Tourmaline Holy City is located. Of course, his heart was still very uneasy. I hope Sister Wei is safe and sound. Although, judging from Duan Yuwei's reaction when she was chased and killed, this possibility is not very high, but Duan Lingtian still hopes that there will be a miracle. Duan Yuwei, being good to him may be a plot for him in the future. However, he did pay his sincerity, and it was not a useless use. Moreover, the reason why Duan Yuwei was in danger this time, in the final analysis, has something to do with him. If it wasn't for him to ask Duan Yuwei to return to the God Realm for help, Duan Yuwei would not have appeared in the area governed by the Qingyun sect through the teleportation array, and would not have met the people of the Fu family. If you don't meet people from the Fu family, you won't usher in the pursuit of the 3 great demigods. Sister Wei, if something happens to you, when I have enough strength in the future, as long as the person who killed you is still alive, I will send him to Huangquan Road to be a cow and a horse for you. In Duan Lingtian's eyes, a cold light appeared, as if he had chosen someone to devour him. After rushing for more than an hour, the outline of the Tourmaline Holy City has already appeared in front of Duan Lingtian. Passing through the Tourmaline Holy City, go in the other direction of the Tourmaline Holy City. There is also the residence of the Duan clan. If the head of the family learns about the death of Sister Wei, I am afraid that the entire Duan family will be in turmoil. I don't know if it will affect this trip to the ruins. I hope it doesn't affect it. However, even if it is affected, I say hello to the envoy of the Baibo Tianfu, and there should still be a chance to enter the place of return to the ruins. For Duan Lingtian, the return to the ruins in Baibo Tianfu was both an opportunity and an examination. The reason why it is said to be an exam is because, as long as he performs well in it, Baibo Tianfu will definitely value him and take the initiative to recruit him. You must know that being recruited and actively seeking to join are two different concepts. Sister Wei, don't blame me for leaving the Duan clan. You should also know that the Duan clan is just a springboard I chose. Going to Baibo Tianfu will make it easier for me to become stronger. In this way, the day of revenge for you will be getting closer and closer. When he was alone and appeared outside the Duan family's residence, Duan Lingshan's heart silently said to Duan Yuwei, whose life and death were uncertain, and there was a high probability that something had happened. End of this chapter. Chapter 45:12. The residence of the Duan clan. Duan Lingtian, as a great worshipper of the Duan clan, now enters the Duan clan, naturally, all the way unimpeded. When he first entered the Duan clan, Duan Lingtian didn't feel much. The elders and children of the Duan clan, who were in charge of patrolling on the periphery, were conscientious. They greeted him when they saw him. From their expressions, they could not see anything unusual. However, after entering the Duan clan, Duan Lingtian immediately contacted Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan. Duan Bing's response made Duan Lingtian startled. Duan Bing's reaction is normal. Even, the first sentence is, Lingtian worship, you came back with the ancestors? Patriarch, I came back alone. Where are you? Duan Lingtian messaged, I have something urgent to report to you. Come directly to my place. Duan Bing said. It is good. After Duan Lingtian responded, he went directly to Duan Bing. On the way, he also calmed down. Now, there is no bad reaction from the patriarch, which means that Sister Wei is likely to be alive. Otherwise, if Sister Wei's soul card shatters, the patriarch will definitely react. Soul cards are similar to soul beads, which can give feedback on a person's life and death. However, soul cards are much better than soul orbs. The soul left in the soul bead will disintegrate with the passage of time. And the soul card can lock the power of the soul left by a person. Unless the person dies, the soul card will always preserve the power of the soul and will not let the locked soul power collapse. Lingtian worship, what is your urgent need to find me? Duan Bing asked curiously. Duan Bing didn't feel anything unusual about Duan Lingtian coming alone. After all, the one who went out with Duan Lingtian this time was the ancestor of their Duan clan, Yu Bansheng. If their old ancestor came with Duan Bing now, he might still be surprised. He only thought that the old ancestor of their Duan clan went back to his cultivation place after returning. Patriarch, Sister Wei's soul card, is it still okay? Regarding the fact that the ancestor of the Duan clan recognized Duan Lingtian as his younger brother, long before Duan Lingtian and Duan Yuwei left the Duan clan together this time, Duan Yuwei had already informed Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, and the other 3 Xeon 4 of the Duan clan. Existence of order. Because of this, Duan Lingtian mentioned the word Sister Wei, and Duan Bing could connect with his ancestors immediately. However, Duan Lingshan's words made Duan Bing's complexion change instantly. Lingtian worship, what do you mean by that? Duan Bing looked at Duan Lingtian again, and it became extraordinarily sharp, and even his face changed completely. Old ancestor, what happened in the anti-god realm? The anti-god realm is one of the 18 realms in the 10,000 realms. It is said that there is a strong saint in the city, and there are many semi-sacred existences below. The old ancestor of their Duan clan had entered the god-defying realm. If the powerhouses of the god-defying realm were to harm her, they might have left her completely. Sister Wei didn't come back with a message? Duan Lingtian took a deep breath, and when he heard Duan Bing's words, he suddenly realized that Sister Wei did not send a message back to the Duan clan. Or you can say, Sister Wei had a message to return to the Duan clan, but she was stopped on the way. Lingtian worship, what happened? Now, Duan Bing has lost his temper, and there is a tinge of blood on his eyes. Their Duan clan is such a semi-sacred powerhouse. It can be said that the status of the Duan clan today is entirely dependent on their half-sacred ancestor of the Duan clan, Yi Bansheng, Duan Yue, patriarch. Duan Lingtian didn't dare to hesitate, and hurriedly told Duan Bing what happened after returning himself and Duan Yue to the out-of-bounds land. After he finished speaking, he couldn't help but wonder, in such a case, Sister Wei shouldn't have come back without a message. It won't come back. Duan Bing shook his head with an ugly face, and at the same time said under Duan Lingshan's blank look, there is the site of the Qingyun sect, and within the area controlled by the Qingyun sect, there is a special formation to block the communication. The ancestors' communication. You can't get out of the area of Qingyun Shengzong at all, and you will be stopped at the edge of Qingyun Shengzong. Similarly, the communication from our side of Baibo Tianfu is difficult to go out, and it will be stopped by the special formation established by Baibo Tianfu. For the sage forces, it's also a way for them to swear their sovereignty. The words fell, Duan Bing's face suddenly softened a little, and he said to Duan Lingtian, I just called the elder in the clan who is responsible for supervising the soul card. The ancestors' soul card is still intact. This also shows that the ancestors are safe and sound. Lingtian worship, you are ready to prepare. Tomorrow morning, the special envoy from Baibo Tianfu will take you and our Duan clan to the place of return to the ruins discovered by Baibo Tianfu this time. Duan Bing said to Duan Lingtian, it is good. Duan Lingtian responded, and at the same time secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Since Sister Wei is all right now, maybe she has escaped the interception of those semi-sacred powerhouses. Of course, Duan Lingtian knew in his heart that Sister Wei might not be all right, and she might still be struggling. But, even so, he knew that he couldn't do anything. Don't say that you don't know where the other party is now, even if you know, with his strength, it's still cannon fodder to go up. The cannon fodder is not a problem, and it may also hold the opponent back. After Duan Lingtian left, Duan Bing naturally couldn't sit still. After all, now, the ancestor of their Duan clan, Duan Yue, a saint in the middle of the night, is likely to be in a desperate situation. At this time, if you can find a helper, you might be able to support the other party in time. So, he immediately moved. Directly contacted the other 3 Xeon 4th Order powerhouses of the Duan clan, and when these 3 Xeon Tier 4 powerhouses knew what happened to Duan Yue, their faces became very ugly. That girl Yue was discovered by the Fu family in the area of Qingyun Shengzong. Trouble. Trouble this time. One of the Duan clan powerhouses at the 4th stage of the Xeon, the white-bearded old man, in terms of seniority, is also Duan Yue's elder, but he was later surpassed by Duan Yue. Cousin, she shouldn't go to the god-defying realm. If something happens to her this time, the disaster of the Duan clan will be brought about by the great worship of Duan Lingtian. He is our Duan clan. The Broom Star. Another Xeon 4th Order powerhouse, a middle-aged man, said in a deep voice. It's pointless to say that now. The last strongman of the 4th rank, a beautiful woman, said with a gloomy expression. Since Sister Yue went to the anti-god realm, it means that she went there voluntarily, not forced by someone. Moreover, do you think that accompany someone who is not even the strongest, can force her? As for what you said, it was because of the other party that she would go to the god realm and have an accident when she came back. Is it possible that you can't have an accident when you usually walk outside alone? If you happen to meet a mad sage strongman who shoots you, can you live? I believe that this matter, the big worshipper named Duan Lingtian did not expect it. Moreover, you should also know that the hatred between Sister Yue and the Fu family was forged a long time ago. But it has nothing to do with the big offering. The beautiful woman is not actually a member of the Duan clan. It was Duan Yue who met when she was traveling abroad. The two were as close as sisters. In the end, Duan Yue returned to the Duan family, and she also brought her back to the Duan family without any worries. Since then, the Duan family has added a strong foreign surname, and she is also the strongest person under Duan Yue in the Duan clan. Because of this, as soon as she opened her mouth, the middle-aged man could only shut up. Now is not the time to argue about this. At this time, what we should do is to contact the semi-sacred powerhouses who have made friends with our Duan clan, and let them go to the Qingyun Shenzong side to see if we can find that girl Yue. The eldest and highest-ranking white-bearded old man revealed the key in one sentence. And almost at the moment when the white-bearded old man's voice fell, Duan Bing, who had softened his face, suddenly changed his face. The next moment, he knelt on the ground with a puff and cried out, "Old ancestor." The three people who were standing also changed at this time. Then, the three disappeared almost at the same time. The three appeared again, already in a hall on the side of the ancestral hall of the Duan clan where the high-level soul cards were placed by the Duan clan. When they saw that the soul card standing alone in the top row in the hall was torn apart, the three of them turned pale. "Girl Yue! Sister Yue! Cousin!" The three of them cried out in grief almost at the same time. This night was undoubtedly hopeless for the senior members of the Duan clan. Because, the pillar of the Duan clan, Duan Yue, who was known as the Midnight Saint, has perished. However, the news was only circulated among the high-level members of the Duan clan, and it was not spread. Like a group of worshippers in the Duan clan, no one received the news. This also led to Duan Lingshan's big offering, and he didn't even know about it. As for why the Duan clan did this, it was nothing more than worrying about the unrest within the clan. Without the semisacred power in the seat of the semisacred powerhouse, can it still be regarded as a semisacred power? Of course, they also know. This news was hidden soon. Soon, the semisacred powerhouses who killed their Duan clan ancestors would spread the news widely to show their power and prestige. Killing a half-sage is something worth showing off. At the same time, in the Qingyun Shengzong area, over a vast wasteland, blood is pouring down, and occasionally you can hear the sound of ghosts crying and wolf howling, a brilliance that spreads for tens of thousands of miles, and a picture of the growth of all things is derived, which is lifelike. Then, the picture paused and then fell apart. A bigger rain of blood continued to pour down. This is a half-sacred death. Moreover, it is still a half-sacred who is good at the law of life. In the Qingyun Shengzong area, in many places, there are strong men rising from the sky, looking at the vision of heaven and earth in the distance, and sighing. End of this chapter. Chapter 45:13. Chapter 45:13. Baibo Tianfu Special Envoy Hu Mingyu Duan Lingtian thought that the next morning, before departure, there might be good news. But what he didn't expect was that what he was waiting for was a bad news. The pillar of the Duan family, the Midnight Saint Duan Yue, finally died yesterday. This news, apart from the high-level surname of our Duan clan, is only known to you among the worshippers. I hope that it will not be spread in a short time. Our Duan clan, we must be prepared to meet the various consequences that the clan will suffer after the death of our ancestors. Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, reminded Duan Lingtian of the news. The reason why I tell you this news is because you and the ancestors have a sister-in-law relationship. You have the right to know. You don't have to blame yourself for this matter. Even if you don't return to the God realm with you, as long as they have the heart to target the ancestors, sooner or later they will find an opportunity to attack the ancestors. Follow Baibo Tianfu's messengers to the place of return to the ruins. People who perform well will be valued by Baibo Tianfu. If you can come out on top, Baibo Tianfu will probably agree to some reasonable requests from you. For the Duan clan, you don't have to worry. Our Duan clan will not fall down so easily. Even when Duan Lingtian left with the special envoy of Baibo Tianfu, Duan Bing's last message to him was still echoing in his ears. Duan Lingtian remained silent. At this time, he was in the artifact spaceship of the special envoy of Baibo Tianfu together with the two new worshippers that the Duan clan found. The special envoy of Baibo Tianfu, a middle-aged man in a grey-white robe, sat quietly on the side of the spaceship, keeping a distance from Duan Lingtian and the others. Great worship, I heard that your swordsmanship has reached the 6th order level. If there is a chance, I hope you can give some pointers. Among the offerings from the two Duan clan, the young man in a green robe moved to Duan Lingshan's side and sat down, and greeted Duan Lingtian warmly. Okay. Duan Lingtian heard the sound, his thoughts were interrupted, he glanced at the green-robed youth in front of him, and nodded. Then I won't disturb the big worship to you. I don't know if you know my name. My name is Shui Ao. The green-robed youth Shui Ao naturally saw that he had disturbed this man, and with an apologetic smile, he also retreated. There is no dissatisfaction. After all, it was you who disturbed the other party. Moreover, the strength of this great worshipper, although he has never heard of the Duan clan that he joined later, he has heard people mention it. It is said that it has the strength close to the invincible upper god. And this kind of existence, even in the power of the saints like Baibo Tianfu, there are only a few people. It's an absolute genius monster. Although he is considered a genius, he is obviously not on the same level compared to the other party. Another enshrined by the Duan clan was a middle-aged man in a black robe. When sitting cross-legged, there was a sword on his leg. This sword, not even a powerful artifact, is just an ordinary artifact, quietly relying on it. However, if you look closely, you can see, around this sword, there was a faint divine power flowing. Obviously the middle-aged black robe did it on purpose. Lan Ming worships. The green-robed youth Shuai Ao was obviously more familiar with the black-robed middle-aged man. As soon as he spoke, he said in a familiar tone, "What are you doing? I remember the last time I discussed with you, the weapon you used was a supreme sword, not this ordinary sword." As Shuai Ao asked, the middle-aged black-robed man known as Lan Ming enshrined also opened his eyes, looked at Shuai Ao and said, "Shuai Ao enshrined, this is what I used before I got the supreme divine sword. The longest sword ever. This sword is also the sword that I got when I was weak, when I got the inheritance of a sword cultivator. It can be said to be my enlightenment teacher. Although, my current swordsmanship has surpassed that senior swordsman, but, my swordsmanship started with this sword, and the inspiration behind my swordsmanship promotion also came from this sword, so I understand the swordsmanship. When the time comes, I will take out this sword and carefully observe every corner of its blade. However, the kendo insight it can bring me has become less and less. Perhaps, it won't be long before it will return to my ring space and fall into ashes. Of course, falling ashes is just a metaphor. In the Naji space, because it is in a completely sealed state, there is not even a shred of dust. Can it still be like this? Shuai Ao was surprised. It seems that everyone's way of comprehending kendo is different. I comprehend kendo, and more relying on imagination. Of course, my foundation also comes from my elders. Shuai Ao said later, he smiled, just like Lan Ming enshrined you, your swordsmanship surpassed that of the senior swordsman who left you with this sword, and my current swordsmanship also surpassed that of my elder. You and I are now better than blue. Having said that, he looked at Duan Lingtian, who was sitting not far away, and said softly, "I'm afraid that the swordsman who is enshrined in a big way is even more brilliant." When Lan Ming heard the words, he nodded in agreement. The swordsmanship of the Great Consecration has reached the level of the Sixth Order, and it must be better than the blue. The conversation between the two was not loud, but Duan Lingtian could still hear it. Listening to their conversation, involving the master he most respects, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but listen and say nothing, and opened his eyes for a while, looked at the two and said, "You are wrong. My swordsmanship has not yet reached the point where the blue is better than the blue. My master's swordsmanship is at least the 7th rank now." As soon as Duan Lingtian said these words, both Shuai Ao and Lan Ming were startled, and then their faces showed disbelief. Even the special envoy of Baibo Tianfu, who was sitting in the distance and did not move for a long time, opened his eyes at this time, and dodged in front of Duan Lingtian. "Lingtian worship, are you serious?" In the face of this Baibo Tianfu envoy's question, Duan Lingtian nodded, "I don't need to tell lies. In my kendo, it is estimated that it was only at the 4th rank. The kendo that my master mastered at that time was no weaker than the kendo that I master now." Duan Lingtian has always admired the gentleness of the master. In terms of cultivation, he surpassed his master before because of repeated encounters. However, in terms of kendo, he has always been left behind. Every time I meet, I think my swordsmanship can be closer to my master, but I didn't expect that it would be farther away again and again. As far as I know, there are only 2 saints who have comprehended the 7th stage of kendo. Is your master one of those 2? When the special envoy of Baibo Tianfu said this, his tone became a lot more polite. Of course, he added in his heart, if it weren't for those 2, then it must be a hidden saint and strong man. No. In the face of the envoy of Baibo Tianfu, Duan Lingtian shook his head. And hearing Duan Lingshan's answer, the special envoy of Baibo Tianfu, also confirmed his guess. Ling Tian worship, this trip to the ruins, as long as your harvest can satisfy our Baibo Tianfu will never treat you badly. The Baibo Tianfu special envoy's attitude towards Duan Lingtian has obviously become a lot more friendly. Thank you for the reminder, I will do my best. Duan Lingtian continued speaking. You don't need to call me from the special envoy. My name is Hu Mingyu. You can just call me Brother Hu. Maybe, it won't be long before you will enter our Baibo Tianfu and become your own. Hu Mingyu laughed. This was also the first time that Hu Mingyu took the initiative to reveal his name in front of Duan Lingtian and the others. Before that, the three only knew that this was the special envoy of Baibo Tianfu. Others, I don't know at all. This time, Duan Lingtian left the Duan clan, and he did not bring Tan Shoting with him as he returned to the God Realm 2 days ago, leaving Tan Shoting to stay with the Duan clan. In the future, if he enters Baibo Tianfu, he plans to ask Tan Shoting to go there. Of course, he also told Tan Shoting. Tan Shoting, if he wants to leave, he can leave at any time, and he can revoke the blood oath that day. However, Tan Shoting expressed his willingness to continue to follow Duan Lingtian. Following Duan Lingtian's days, Tan Shoting also tasted a lot of sweetness. Although he was just a sidekick by Duan Lingtian's side, whether it was this way or the Duan clan, because of Duan Lingtian's relationship, he gained a lot of benefits that he never dared to think about in the past. With his little strength, wanting to obtain those things on his own is a fool's errand. But now, it is within reach. End of this chapter. Chapter 45:14. Hu Mingyu, the special envoy of Baibo Tianfu, heard from Duan Lingtian that the swordsmanship mastered by his master has reached at least the 7th level. I only thought that Duan Lingtian's master was a strong saint. Therefore, on the next journey, he was very polite and enthusiastic to Duan Lingtian. The other two were a little jealous, but they also knew that they and Duan Lingtian, the great sacrifice of the Duan clan, were incomparable in any respect. Now, they also think that the master in Duan Lingtian's mouth should be a powerful hidden world powerhouse. Moreover, it is the strongest who has understood the 7th order kendo. Even if the superpowers who are good at the law have not yet comprehended the realm of great perfection, they are definitely invincible characters among the semi-sages. Sister Wei, just leave like this. Even now, Duan Lingtian still hasn't recovered from the news of Duan Yuwei's death. In his mind, the figure in front of Duan Yuwei is all. Although, Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, advised him not to blame himself. But can he not blame himself? After all, what happened to Duan Yuwei on the way back to the God Realm with him? If you don't go back with me, Sister Wei will be fine. Duan Lingtian's heart was full of guilt. At the same time, in the eyes, the flame of hatred is also burning. Sister Wei, don't worry. If I have enough strength in the future, I will definitely take revenge for you. Duan Lingtian thought silently in his heart. Certainly. Guilt is guilt. Duan Lingtian himself knows that he can't be buried in guilt all the time, he still has a lot of things to do. Don't say anything else, just say revenge for Duan Yuwei. If he does not have enough strength, it is impossible to achieve. This trip to the ruins of Baibo Tianfu is my chance. As long as it shows its value in front of the powerhouses of Baibo Tianfu, not only can Kier's soul be imprisoned, but I can also get the resources of Baibo Tianfu. Baibo Tianfu is a sage power, and its resources are tilted, which ordinary people can't imagine. Like his hometown, the anti-god realm, the background of the entire realm combined, I am afraid it may not be comparable to the Baibo Tianfu. In Baibo Tianfu, it is said that there are 2 saints in the contemporary era. In Lei Shengjing, it is an absolute hegemonic force. After rushing for a few days, Duan Lingtian, Shui Ao, and Lan Ming were also taken by Hu Mingyu outside the residence of Baibo Tianfu. Just on the periphery. As for the resident of Baibo Tianfu, it is impossible to see at all, and it is full of fog. And at this moment, outside the fog ahead, a lot of people have gathered, obviously like Duan Lingtian and the 3 of them, the kendo geniuses collected by Baibo Tianfu from all over the place. The return to the ruins opened by our Baibo Tianfu opened a year ago. The three of you are the second batch of kendo geniuses from the three semi-holy forces in the Tourmaline Holy City. Hu Mingyu said to Duan Lingtian and the others. The Tourmaline Holy City also has a kendo genius collected by semi-holy forces, who will set off in a year and come here. This time, 3 groups of people will enter the land of return to the ruins. This is also our past practice in Baibo Tianfu. Hu Mingyu said. 3 groups of people? Shuai wondered, why are there 3 groups of people? Duan Lingtian and Lan Ming also looked at Hu Mingyu at this time, and they were also curious about it. A group of people go in together, okay? No wonder the envoy only brought the 3 of us here. Duan Lingtian suddenly realized. After a period of time, he discovered that Hu Mingyu only brought 3 of them, kendo geniuses from the Duan clan, to Baibo Tianfu. At that time, he was a little puzzled. In the Tourmaline Holy City, it seems that not only the Duan clan is a semi-holy force, right? The other 2 semi-holy forces must have also received an invitation from Baibo Tianfu. Could it be that they haven't found a genius powerhouse of the 4th rank of kendo? This is obviously unlikely. After all, on the Duan clan's side, even though they were cramming for a while, they found 2 people. As for Duan Lingtian, he sent it to the door himself, not counting the efforts of the Duan clan to find it. Facing Shuai's question, Hu Mingyu said with a heavy expression, because, many years ago, on our side of Baibo Tianfu, we found a place of return to the ruins. That place of return to the ruins is also forbidden to those above the strongest to enter. At that time, we gathered a group of people who met the conditions and asked them to enter the land of return to the ruins to hunt for treasure. And as a result, the entire army was wiped out. Because of this, after that, whenever our Baibo Tianfu finds the place of return to the ruins, if we send people in, we will enter in 3 batches. This time, wait for the first group of people to come out before you go in. The time given to them is 1 year. Hu Mingyu said what? Shuai's face was shocked. The first batch of people, after 1 year, will we enter? Isn't all the good things in there already collected by them? They eat meat in the front, and we are in the back. I'm afraid we won't even be able to eat meat residue, right? Shuai's words were also recognized by Duan Lingtian and Lan Ming. They naturally thought so. It's also possible. Hu Mingyu nodded, but, why don't you think about it? If there is really danger inside, it can wipe out the entire army of those who go in. Isn't it a blessing that you didn't go in? They go first, and the opportunity is relatively large, but at the same time as the opportunity is large, it also corresponds to the corresponding big risk. As soon as Hu Mingyu said these words, Shuai fell silent. Indeed, this is true. According to the agreement, they will come out the day after tomorrow. Later, after we are all together, we will go to the entrance of the return to the ruins. Hu Mingyu continued. What if someone doesn't come out? Shuai asked. Don't come out. Hu Mingyu smiled, then after he comes out, he will surely die. If Baibo Tianfu is concerned, not everyone can disobey at will. What if it's the genius of Baibo Tianfu? Shuai asked again. Could it be that Baibo Tianfu killed even his own people? Just because it didn't come out in time? Among the first batch of people, there is no genius from our Baibo Tianfu. Shuai said lightly, our Baibo Tianfu genius will enter the 3rd batch, which is the last batch. Therefore, the possibility you mentioned is not possible. Baibo Tianfu is prudent enough, and his own genius should enter last. Naturally, Shuai didn't dare to say these words indiscriminately. He said it to Duan Lingtian and Lan Ming through sound transmission. Actually, that's normal. Lan Ming's voice transmission said to Duan Lingtian and Shuai, anyway, before we go in, we must leave our own ring outside. So, Baibo Tianfu, we are not afraid that we will embezzle what they want. Since we get what they want, we will definitely hand over it, so why should they let their own geniuses take the lead and take risks? Lan Ming's words can be said to hit the nail on the head. 3 groups of people, each group of people for a year. It seems that this return to the ruins can only exist for 3 years. Shuai said. Good. Hu Mingyu nodded. Before our Baibo Tianfu opened the return to the ruins, we made a judgment that the place of return to the ruins can exist for about 3 years. So, in the second year, you should cherish it. Someone is at the front, accumulating experience for you, and you can get twice the result with half the effort when you enter the second batch. End of this chapter. Chapter 45:15. Duan Lingtian, Lan Ming, and Shui Ao waited with Hu Mingyu until the next day, when they finally arrived. After everyone arrived, they all got on the same artifact spaceship and went to the entrance to the ruins. Duan Lingtian glanced around. In addition to the people from Baibo Tianfu, this time, they collected kendo geniuses from all over the country to explore the return to the ruins. This second batch, including him, Lan Ming, and Shui Ao, actually had 36 people. It seems that this time, Baibo Tianfu has found hundreds of kendo geniuses and went to explore the return to the ruins in 3 batches. While Duan Lingtian was observing the surroundings, Shui Ao and Lan Ming, as well as other kendo geniuses, were also looking around. These kendo geniuses are either sitting on one side alone or in groups of 3 or 5. Everyone's face has a bit of pride. Even Lan Ming and Shui Ao, although they were very low-key in front of Duan Lingtian, were limited to Duan Lingtian. When others looked at them, they were indifferent and could hardly hide their arrogance. This time, when I went to the place where the return to the ruins was located, many of the powerhouses of Baibo Tianfu who brought people over did not go there together. Only 3 people remained. Hu Mingyu, who brought Duan Lingtian and the 3, was one of the 3. At this time, the 3 were chatting in front of the artifact spaceship. Old Shui, I heard that one of the geniuses you brought in this time has realized the existence of the 6th order swordsmanship. An old man with a white beard supported the long beard on his chin, squinted his eyes, and asked Hu Mingyu. When Hu Mingyu heard this, he smiled and said, "Yes, it is the great worship of the Duan clan in the holy city of Tourmaline, named Duan Lingtian. The kendo comprehends the 6th level, and the law of space also comprehends the realm of small perfection. Invincible superior under the gods, there should be no one who can defeat him alone. Not even the 3 of our Baibo Tianfu?" Another young man in a blue robe asked in surprise. Hu Mingyu shook his head, "Probably not. That Duan Lingtian's strength, this time I have also asked clearly in the Duan clan, and it is indeed very strong. Of course, it's up to him to know how strong it is. This time, if he does well in the land of return to ruins, I plan to recommend him to the palace." Hu Mingyu said. "If such a genius is willing to enter our Baibo Tianfu, we will not refuse even if his performance is average in the land of returning ruins." The white-bearded old man laughed. "He wants to come in by himself, which is different from our invitation." Hu Mingyu said with a smile, "We invite, we must promise something. And he wants to enter, naturally he can't take the initiative to make conditions with us, right? So, I think it's impossible for him to take the initiative to come to our Baibo Tianfu, and he will definitely wait for us to invite him." What Hu Mingyu said was actually what Duan Lingtian thought. To be precise, it was mid-Saint Yu Yi Duan Yuwei who reminded him to do this before. You want to ask to enter the Baibo Tianfu, and Baibo Tianfu actively invites them, which are completely 2 concepts. According to Duan Yuwei's words, her younger brother's talent is so enchanting, unless the people at Baibo Tianfu are blind, they will definitely invite her younger brother to join him. It was also because of Duan Yuwei's reminder that Duan Lingtian knew the importance of holding the shelf in front of Baibo Tianfu. Otherwise, not to mention anything else, in order to release Kier's soul imprisonment, he would not mind taking the initiative to make a request to Baibo Tianfu to join Baibo Tianfu. Just about 2 hours later, the artifact spacecraft stopped. And Duan Lingtian and others also followed Hu Mingyu and other 3 powerhouses of Baibo Tianfu, and got off the magical spaceship. At this time, they discovered that they appeared in a vast barren mountain. Moreover, when they came out, there were already many people waiting here. About a dozen people. Those people are all strong men from Baibo Tianfu. The young man wearing a white robe with a silver border is obviously the highest. Beside Duan Lingtian, Shui Ao looked at a figure in the distance and said softly. Duan Lingtian heard the words and looked over. However, they saw that Hu Mingyu and the other 3 who brought them out all stepped forward at this time, saluted the young man in a white robe with a silver border, and called out Master Hall Master. Lan Ming, What kind of strength do you think this person is? Shui Ao asked Lan Ming. When Lan Ming heard the words, a gleam of light flashed in his eyes, and then he said in a deep voice, "At least it's a semi-holy. It does have some eyesight." Suddenly, a voice came, and a young man in a brocade clothes came over. Duan Lingtian had an impression of this person, a kendo genius who came over in a spaceship with them. This person had previously sat alone and closed his eyes to rest in peace. Really half-holy? Shui Ao looked at the young man in genie and asked in surprise, "You don't know him, do you?" The young man in genie smiled when he heard the words, "I'm not qualified to know him. However, I did meet him, and it was many years ago, when I was still young. His name is Xiao Tianxi. He is the master of the Golden Dragon Palace of Baibo Qianfu, a semi-saint powerhouse, and is also recognized as the next saint of Baibo Qianfu." The young man in brocade said respectfully, "Xiao Tianxi, Lord of the Golden Dragon Palace." Hearing the words of the young man in genie, Duan Lingtian also remembered the name. "I just don't know. How does this person's strength compare to Sister Wei?" Duan Lingtian said secretly. However, after thinking about Duan Yuwei for a moment, his face darkened again, and the original living person disappeared in a blink of an eye. Moreover, after trying to find a way out for him, he was killed. It is conceivable that if Duan Yuwei hadn't put him down at that time, he would have been killed together with Duan Yuwei. He didn't think that the three semi-sacred powerhouses who killed Duan Yuwei would be merciful to him. "He is Xiao Tianxi." And Lan Ming, at this time, was horrified while suppressing his voice. "Lan Ming, do you know the master of the Golden Dragon Palace of Baibo Qianfu?" Shui Ao looked surprised. Duan Lingtian also looked at Lan Ming. But Lan Ming said with a solemn expression at this time, "I heard an elder mention him. Said that he is an unparalleled genius and evildoer. In the past, after stepping into the realm of the strongest, whenever you enter a new realm, you will challenge the realm outside the realm, and even fellow practitioners from all over the world are people in the realm. In the process of Xeon First Order to Third Order, he was finally recognized as invincible at the same order. Until he stepped into the 4th level Xeon, he was just about to challenge the 4th level Xeon Strong in the 4 directions, but he was not successful in his apprenticeship and was defeated by a monster who was also the 4th level Xeon. And that evildoer also stepped on the name of defeating him, and became famous outside the world, and even in the world. That enchanting monster has faced the challenges of many Xeon 4th Order powerhouses, but these people were all defeated by him without exception. In the end, this person is recognized as the first person under the semi-sacred place, and even the 10,000 world. Xiao Tianxi's limelight was completely covered by him. When Lan Ming said this, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. "The person you said." At this time, the young man in genie next to him raised his brows. "Is that the powerhouse of the god-defying realm Xiao Mubai, one of the 18 realms of the 10,000 realms?" Xiao Mubai. This was also the first time Duan Lingtian had heard someone mention the names of people from the god-defying realm other than Time Sword in a place outside the world. For a time, his heart couldn't help but get a little excited. After all, whether it is the Sword of Time or Xiao Mubai, they are the seniors of his hometown, the god-defying realm. At this moment, he has a sense of hometown pride. He is also a person from the god-defying realm. End of this chapter. Chapter 45:16. Duan Lingtian looked at the Xiao Tianxi, the master of the Golden Dragon Palace of Baibo Qianfu. The same surname as Xiao Mubai, the world master of the god-defying realm, is also a genius. Before their god-defying realm made a big splash with the help of Xiao Mubai, he was famous in places beyond the world, and even in all realms. Until the 4th rank of Xeon, he was defeated by Xiao Mubai. Of course, even if Xiao Tianxi was defeated by Xiao Mubai, Duan Lingtian didn't feel that this Xiao Tianxi was really weak. It was only weaker than Xiao Mubai, and certainly not much difference. Hall Master Xiao is here. Suddenly, Shui Ao's reminder came from Duan Lingtian's ear. At this time, Duan Lingxi discovered that, surrounded by Hu Mingyu, he was coming towards them from the sky, and he was in front of them in a blink of an eye. "Duan Lingtian, this is the master of our Baibo Qianfu Golden Dragon Palace, the master of Xiao Tianxi." At this time, Hu Mingyu looked at Duan Lingtian and said loudly, Dianju Xiao is here to meet you, a genius who has mastered the 6th order swordsmanship. 6th order kendo. Hu Mingyu's voice was so small that many people around him could hear it. For a time, a group of eyes gathered on Duan Lingtian's body from all directions, and their eyes were full of disbelief and shock. 6th order kendo? Moreover, is it still in existence under a supreme power? Real or fake? Of course, this question only exists in the blink of an eye. Since the top powerhouses of Baibo Tianfu have said so, then 9 times out of 10 this matter is true, because there is a high probability that the superpowers of Baibo Tianfu will not open their mouths. Duan Lingtian, I have seen Hall Master Xiao. Duan Lingtian bowed slightly to salute Xiao Tianzi, the master of the Golden Dragon Palace in front of him. And Shuai and other people standing beside him also bowed and saluted. Let me see your swordsmanship, how about you? Xiao Tianzi looked at Duan Lingtian, and with a slight smile, pointed it out. In an instant, a stream of light pierced through the sky and swept away straight towards Duan Lingtian. In an instant, Duan Lingtian could also feel that the impact contained in this stream of light was definitely enough to compare with his current full-strength strike. This is definitely the top offensive under the invincible upper god. He knew that Xiao Tianzi wanted to try him, but he didn't expect that Xiao Tianzi's control of power would reach such a superb level. Taking a deep breath, Duan Lingtian did not hesitate, and immediately rose from the sky, carrying that stream of light into the sky. Then, the 7 orifices and exquisite swords came out from his hand. The space law of the small perfection realm was integrated into the divine power, and together with his swordsmanship, he met the streamer offensive pointed out by Xiao Tianzi. Call out. Duan Lingtian's sword, the colorful rays of light condensed, met the streamer, and instantly stalemate together. And then, in front of everyone's eyes, the two forces collided together, and a terrifying force suddenly erupted, and it was about to recoil at the nearest Duan Lingtian. Whoa! I saw Xiao Tianzi lift it up, invisible, as if there was a huge force falling from the sky, crushing the recoil force that was about to rush towards Duan Lingtian, enough to cause Duan Lingtian to be slightly injured. Thank you, Hall Master. Duan Lingtian repeatedly thanked him. Good. Xiao Tianzi, however, nodded to Duan Lingtian, and then said, after this trip to the ruins, can you be interested in entering the Baibo Tianfu and my Golden Dragon Palace? Xiao Tianzi sent an invitation to Duan Lingtian. And this invitation also shocked everyone around him. Even Hu Mingyu never expected that the master of the Golden Dragon Palace of Baibo Tianfu would take the initiative to invite a young man to join Baibo Tianfu. You must know that in the past, this one has only actively invited 2 invincible high-ranking gods to enter the Baibo Tianfu and the Golden Dragon Palace. Except for those 2 times, no one was invited again. In the eyes of the Hall Master, can this Ling Tian be compared to the invincible superior god? Now, not only Hu Mingyu was shocked, but the senior officials of Baibo Tianfu, who were familiar with Xiao Tianzi, were also shocked. For a time, more eyes were focused on Duan Lingtian. The kendo geniuses present all looked at Duan Lingtian with envy and hatred. Listening to what the master of the Golden Dragon Hall of Baibo Tianfu, the first person under the sage of Baibo Tianfu, said that if Duan Lingtian entered Baibo Tianfu and the Golden Dragon Hall, he would probably immediately become his confidant. Duan Lingtian is honored. Duan Lingtian responded quickly. Baibo Tianfu's strongest semi-sage invited him, what reason did he have to refuse? With the strength of this person, in Baibo Tianfu, it can be said that there is an existence under the saint and above 10,000 people. It is good. A smile appeared on Xiao Tianzi's face. From today onwards, you are the person of the Golden Dragon Palace that I Xiao Tianzi had. I, Xiao Tianzi, the Palace Master of the Golden Dragon Palace, give you the name, the Void Sword. Are you still satisfied? Xiao Tianzi asked with a smile. Void Sword. Name. Although the name is not something valuable, the name given by Xiao Tian has a completely different meaning. How much should Xiao Tianzi pay attention to before being given the title by Xiao Tianzi himself? Is it a direct disciple, nothing more than this? Thank you, Hall Master. Duan Lingtian repeatedly thanked him. Although he had no feelings for the name, since the Golden Dragon Palace Master gave such face, He naturally couldn't refute the other party's good intentions. And, it's also good for him. At least, when he entered Baibo Tianfu, his road in Baibo Tianfu would be much easier to walk. Having a backer and not having a backer are two completely different concepts. Haha. The Void Sword Duan Lingtian, I didn't know that before. Hall Master Xiao is so good at taking names. Hu Mingyu laughed, and in his words, he was not stingy about flattering Xiao Tianzi. Duan Lingtian, you don't need to go in the second batch, the third batch is here, you can go in together. Xiao Tianzi said to Duan Lingtian. Yes. Duan Lingtian responded quickly. As for Lan Ming and Shui Ao, who had come with Duan Lingtian before, when they looked at Duan Lingtian again, there was nothing but envy in their eyes. You all came from the Duan clan at one time. You have become Baibo Tianfu's strongest half-sage confidant, but we are still the little transparent. Xiao Tianzi let Duan Lingtian enter the last batch again, and gave him the treatment of the kendo genius who entered the ruins at Baibo Tianfu this time. Brother Hu. Duan Lingtian sent a voice transmission to Hu Mingyu, who was standing behind Xiao Tianzi. He couldn't help but ask curiously, what is the rule that Hall Master Xiao is best at? And Hu Mingyu quickly gave him a response. Jianzhu Xiao is best at the law of death, and he has already entered the realm of great perfection. Secondly, the law of life, which is also close to the great perfection. The only thing missing is the four worlds. Palace Master Xiao is also good at swordsmanship. He is currently in the 5th rank. As long as he enters the 6th rank, he can be promoted to breakthrough and become a saint. As soon as Hu Mingyu said these words, Duan Lingtian suddenly realized. It turned out that Xiao Tianzi was also good at the law of life. It seems that this Hall Master Xiao Tianzi has already seen that I am not young. He, one of the 4 ways of heaven and earth that he masters, is also the way of swordsmanship. Maybe it is also related to this. After all, geniuses are generally unconvincing, but they will still give some respect to those who can surpass themselves in a certain field. At this moment, Duan Lingtian also found the reason for Xiao Tianzi's attention. After a moment, Duan Lingtian came to Xiao Tianzi's side. Then, looking at the figures one after another, they came out of the land of return to the ruins. Soon, the first group of people, as long as they were still alive, came out. Palace Master Xiao, the statistics have been made. The first batch of people who entered, lost 12 people. Soon, there was a powerhouse from Baibo Tianfu, who came to report to Xiao Tianzi after finishing the statistics. Okay. Xiao Tianzi's reaction was calm, as if he was not surprised at all. As for Duan Lingtian, deep in his heart at this moment, there were waves of stormy waves. He knew that based on the number of people in the second batch, the first batch of people must be between 30 and 40 people. 12 people died. Almost a third of it was lost. The death rate is too high. At the same time, the expressions of the second batch of kendo geniuses also changed after hearing the loss rate. End of this chapter. Chapter 45:17. Such a high loss rate. Many kendo geniuses have the intention of retreating after hearing about the loss rate. However, when a few people proposed to withdraw, the one who responded to them was the extremely cold gaze of the most powerful person in Baibo Tianfu. As if telling them, if you dare to quit now, there is only one dead end. Humph. A kendo genius snorted coldly, what are you afraid of? Wealth and wealth are in danger, which one is not in danger? If you are even afraid of this kind of danger, you are not worthy of being strong. The land of return to the ruins is indeed dangerous. However, there are not many places to return to the ruins with such a high loss rate. However, as this kendo genius opened his mouth, all those kendo geniuses who had the intention of retreating suddenly looked remorseful. They never thought that they would be greedy for life and fear of death in front of a place with many opportunities to return to the ruins. They have been able to get to this day, and they have gone through countless difficulties, and they have also experienced many scenes of life and death. Are they really afraid of death? Not necessarily. It can be said that the words of this kendo genius woke them up. This person, kendo, is at the 5th level. When Duan Lingtian looked at the kendo genius who was speaking, not far from him, the voice transmission of Xiao Tianzi, the master of the Golden Dragon Palace of Baibo Tianfu, also entered his ears in a timely manner. However, he is much older than you. Among the kendo geniuses present, apart from you, he should be the strongest. Hearing Xiao Tianxi's words, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but glance at the other party. However, I saw that this was a young man in a black robe, with an ordinary appearance and an angry eyebrow, giving people a feeling of not being angry and self-proud, standing there, standing straight, like a sharp sword. Okay. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian found that the other party seemed to sense that he was looking at him, and also looked at him, and there was obviously a strong fighting intent in his eyes. Facing the fighting intent in the opponent's eyes, Duan Lingtian just looked at him, nodded lightly and smiled. Then, he looked back. This man, wouldn't he think he was provoking? Soon, the last time for the first group of people to come out has arrived. Those who came out alive handed in their vows. Then, there is the supreme power of Baibo Tianfu to take them away. The people who took them away were the three superpowers who brought them here before, and while taking them away, they said, "This time I will take you to Baibo Tianfu. If you get what we want in Baibo Tianfu, you can do it all. Select some corresponding treasures in our Baibo Tianfu. If you don't get what we want from Baibo Tianfu, everything you gain from this trip will belong to you." Soon, the first group of people who came out alive followed the powerhouses of Baibo Tianfu to leave. And half a day passed. Following the indifferent voice of the master of the Golden Dragon Hall of Baibo Tianfu, Xiao Tianxi, "Go in." Immediately, under the guidance of Hu Mingyu and other three Baibo Tianfu supreme powerhouses, a group of kendo geniuses, including Lan Ming and Shuer Ao who came with Duan Lingtian, entered the place of return to the ruins together. "Duan Lingtian, I really envy you, being valued by Hall Master Xiao. After I come out this time, if I have a chance to enter the Baibo Tianfu, you have to cover me." Before Shuer Ao went in, when he transmitted the voice to Duan Lingtian, his tone was a little more flattering and flattering. After the sound transmission, he followed the others into the place of return to the ruins. For a time, there were only 6 people left outside. The 3 Baibo Tianfu supreme powerhouses who brought Duan Lingtian and the other second group over. Duan Lingtian. There was also Xiao Tianxi, and the grey-robed old man behind Xiao Tianxi who had never spoken. The grey-robed old man, following behind Xiao Tianxi, was like a shadow, following him like a shadow. His face was calm, and there was no turbulence from beginning to end. Duan Lingtian couldn't help but wonder if this person was paralyzed. "You 3, wait outside." Following Xiao Tianxi's words, he raised his hand, took Duan Lingtian, and left with the old man behind him. Duan Lingtian has not recovered yet. When he opened his eyes again, he found that he had come to a vast and boundless world. This piece of heaven and earth is boundless, and at a glance, it seems that there is no end in sight. And just when Duan Lingtian wondered where he had been brought, Xiao Tianxi's voice had entered his ears in a timely manner. "This is the small world inside my body. Elder Kong, he is also good at space law. His space law, many years ago, stepped into the realm of great perfection. Before the third group of people enter the land of returning ruins, you will be here and practice the laws of space with Lao Lao. In your spare time, you can also show your kendo and show me how. My kendo is only half a step away from the 6th rank, but this half step has not advanced for many years." After Xiao Tianxi said these words, Duan Lingtian also knew what the other party meant. The other party wants to observe his kendo. Of course, it won't let him suffer. The other party also arranged for a strong man who mastered the laws of space in the realm of great perfection to instruct him on the laws of space. Cool. As if a gust of wind blew, followed closely, an aged figure appeared in front of Duan Lingtian. At this time, Duan Lingtian also recognized the other party. Isn't that the old man in grey robe who stood behind Xiao Tianxi earlier? At that time, he also felt that the other party was like a facial paralysis. He is a superpower who has mastered the spatial laws of the great perfection. Duan Lingtian secretly sucked in a breath of cold air. The most powerful person who has mastered the laws of space in the realm of great perfection, even if his attainment in the 4 realms of heaven and earth is very general, and he has not even stepped into the 4th rank, he is at least the existence of the 4th rank of the strongest. The fourth order Xeon is also close to the semi-holy existence. Go all out. Use your swordsmanship to match your space laws. The grey-robed old man opened his mouth, but his expression didn't change when he spoke, making people look like that paralyzed face. I will try my best to control my strength to a level similar to yours. Of course, I won't keep it when it comes to displaying the laws of space. Hearing the other party's words, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but feel excited. He knows. This is definitely a great opportunity for him, although, in his hands, there is no shortage of floating shadow mirrors that have realized the existence of the law of space to the realm of great perfection, but after all, it is a floating shadow mirror, which can only be observed and cannot be experienced in person. And now, a living powerhouse who has comprehended the laws of space to the realm of great perfection, stands in front of him, and wants to give him pointers. This is undoubtedly a pointer to get twice the result with half the effort. The help of the floating shadow mirror to him is insignificant in the face of this kind of guidance. Thank you, Senior. Duan Lingtian looked solemn, and bowed respectfully to the grey-robed old man. For him, this is a great blessing. Even though he knew that this was a deal, the transaction between him and the Golden Dragon Hall Master Xiao Tianxi exchanged his kendo perception for the perception of the laws of space. However, he knew that this was his advantage. He believed that, as Xiao Tianxi, it was not so difficult to observe the sixth-order swordsmanship of others. Even a strong sage might give him some face and betray others. And he Duan Lingtian. Wanting to comprehend the laws of space to the existence of the great perfection realm, and pointing him while fighting with him, is undoubtedly more difficult than going to the sky. Now, such an opportunity is in front of him. How could he not be excited? This is a surefire deal. My law of space has not advanced for a long time. This time, it may be an opportunity. Only by going a step further can we continue to move towards the realm of great perfection. He now has mastered the sword Tao of the four ways of heaven and earth, and has comprehended the sixth order level. As long as he comprehends the laws of space to the state of perfection, he will become the leader of the invincible superior gods in one fell swoop. If you break through and become the strongest. Chapter 45:18. The old man Xiao Tianxi, called Empty Old Man, quickly moved. As soon as he made his move, the surrounding space shook, as if he had turned into a of space, leaping from one end of the space to the other, appearing when Duan Lingtian. It's not teleportation, but it's comparable to teleportation, so strong. This is the space law of the great perfection. Duan Lingtian trembled in his heart, and at the same time subconsciously wanted a teleport to leave the place, but he didn't do it, because he knew that Kong Laro must have disturbed the space and made him unable to teleport. Call out. Without any hesitation, the divine power on Duan Lingtian's body rose, and the laws of space converged, condensing a dazzling sword light, turning into a human sword, turning around and beheading Kong Lao. When this sword was swung, the world seemed to change color, and the sword glow that covered the sky seemed to be able to crush everything in the world. What a powerful swordsmanship! Kong Lao exclaimed. I saw that he faced Duan Lingtian's strike that was like a combination of human and sword, and the figure continued to become illusory on the face, making Duan Lingtian's sword completely empty. However, Old Kong was still constantly approaching Duan Lingtian while his figure changed. This also made Duan Lingtian feel the pressure. The space law of the great perfection is indeed very strong. Now, this veteran Kong's own supreme divine power has been suppressed to a level comparable to that of the superior gods. But, with the space law of the great perfection, even if he does not use any of the four worlds, his strength is still better than mine. His current strength should be comparable to that of the invincible upper god. In an instant, Duan Lingtian already had enough pressure. At the same time, I couldn't help but curse in my heart. This old guy, didn't he mean to control his strength to be similar to mine? This is clearly comparable to the strength of the invincible upper god Venerable. It's almost called. Although his current strength is not far from the invincible superior god Venerable, as long as the laws of space and kendo do not break through, he will not be able to reach that realm in one day. Call out. The sword Qi is vertical and horizontal, and Duan Lingtian comes with a sword that turns around. The sword light is dazzling, as if it can tear apart all spaces and destroy all falsehoods in the void. In addition, Duan Lingshan's figure suddenly arched and exerted force at this time, almost unreservedly. In addition to useless weapons, completely unreserved shot. Humph! With a cold snort in his heart, Duan Lingtian turned his body into a sword, caught up with Laro Laro in a blink of an eye, and pierced his body. However, when this sword hole passed through, he found out that this was not Kong Lao's true body at all. The state of the great perfection of the law of space represents the complete mastery of the mystery of the law of space. As long as I can use the power of the surrounding space, in this space, I will be an invincible existence. Kong Lao's voice seemed to come from all directions. Your strength is very strong. If I don't control my divine power to a level comparable to that of the upper gods, I can't be your opponent. Now, I will keep my strength at the level of the invincible superior god, so that I can be sure not to be defeated by you. Kong Lao said the reason why he did not continue to push down the strength. No way. His heaven and earth are not strong. If he further suppresses divine power, even if he uses all the means, it is impossible to comprehend the laws of space to the realm of small perfection, and master the sixth layer of Kendo Duan Lingshan's opponent. Unless, your divine power is enough to suppress my divine power, so that I have no time to use the power of the surrounding space. Kong Lao, in a word, also said the powerful reason for the invincible superior god. This is also the reason why the invincible upper gods are invincible under the strongest, but even the weakest and the strongest can defeat them. Power suppression. Both are high-ranking gods, everyone's divine power is at the same level. How can we talk about who suppresses whom? Kong Lao shot again. Boom. Boom. Above Duan Lingshan's head, Kong Lao's figure appeared, and a palm shot out, as if covering the sky and sun. The closer to Duan Lingtian, the larger the palm print. It's like rising against the wind. Humph. Duan Lingtian let out a low snort and wanted to dodge away. But he found that no matter how he escaped, a huge palm print would appear above his head, rising in the wind. It seems that if you don't shoot him to death, you will not let go of the palm prints. Let him have nowhere to run, then touch it. After discovering that he could not escape the shrouded range of the palm print, Duan Lingtian was also ruthless. His whole body was shaking with divine power, and the power of the law was displayed, condensing into a sword in his hand. The sword came out, the situation was turbulent, and the palm print fell from the sky. Call out. Boom. The swords and palms slammed into each other, and the terrifying power shock caused Duan Lingtian to feel an unprecedented pressure, as if his internal organs were violently shaken. His throat was even sweeter, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The old man is merciful. Just when Xiao Tianzi sent a voice transmission to Laro Laro and asked him to show mercy, Laro Laro stopped his hand. I saw that Duan Lingtian, who had just spit out a mouthful of blood in the void, with a pale face, his eyes that were a little dazed, suddenly gathered together. Then, facing the palm print above the void, that had not collapsed and continued to press down, he murmured, "So it is. It's no wonder that my kendo is difficult to go further. Sword, not only the sword in the hand is a sword, nor is the sword that condenses divine power a sword. The power of space can be a sword. The law of space can also be a sword. The law of time is also a sword. The law of life is also a sword." While Duan Lingtian murmured in a low voice, around his body, a law clone suddenly appeared. There are those entangled with the power of space, the power of time covering the body, and the power of life shrouded. Suddenly, Duan Lingshan's deity, and the surroundings of these law clones, suddenly appeared one after another bright sword light, and the sword light became more and more powerful. And then, "Elder Kong, please continue." Duan Lingtian greeted Kong Lao, and he could see that Kong Lao was closing his hands. "It is good." At this time, Elder Kong also saw that Duan Lingtian seemed to have fallen into a state of comprehension. "Sword up." Duan Lingtian murmured, and suddenly the countless sword lights around the body of the deity and the avatar of the law gathered together and roared toward the palm print falling from the sky. "Call out! Call out! Call out! Call out! Call out!" Wanjian lifted off into the sky, like a meteor turning around, leaving a beautiful scene in the air, and then collided with the palm print that fell from the sky. In an instant. Boom. Boom. The aftermath of the terrifying power spread out, but Duan Lingtian, on the other hand, was standing there, unscathed, with sword chi filling the sky, turbulent purple robes on his body, and indomitable figure like a sword. Sharp. Kong Lao's palm print was also annihilated when Wanjian was lifted into the sky. In an instant, the fight between the two was evenly matched and ended in a draw. Duan Lingtian, you actually touched the threshold of the 7th rank of Kendo. At the same time, a figure appeared. It was the master of the Baibo Tianfu Golden Dragon Palace, Xiao Tianxi. At this time, Xiao Tianxi was no longer as serious as before, and when he looked at Duan Lingtian again, he obviously lost his temper. The strength you just showed has already entered the ranks of the invincible upper gods. The upper gods, the law is small and perfect, and if you touch the threshold of the 7th stage of the 4 paths of heaven and earth, you can also become an invincible upper god. That is, the current Duan Lingtian already has the strength comparable to the invincible superior god Venerable. Invincible upper god Venerable. Duan Lingshan's eyes also lit up in an instant. Just now, he just felt that his perception of Kendo has taken another step forward, and his strength seems to have improved a little, but there is no concept of how much. Now, when he heard Xiao Tianxi's words, he was very excited. Invincible upper gods. This also means that when he enters Baibo Tianfu, he will have the opportunity to meet with the saints and powerhouses of Baibo Xianfu, and may even be important to the saints and powerhouses. In this case, it is absolutely possible to ask the strong sage to take action to dispel the imprisonment of his wife Kir. End of this chapter. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.